When Jin Li first arrived at the Shaolin Temple, he was 19. Like many, he'd grown up watching kung fu movies, dreaming of ancient wisdom and unshakable discipline. He remembered standing at the temple gates for the first time, the mist curling around the rooftops, the smell of incense, the sound of fists striking stone. He thought he had arrived at a place of peace. He was wrong. That first morning, the bell rang at 4 a.m. sharp. Before the sun rose, Jin Li was running barefoot up a mountain trail, knees burning, breath shallow, snow crunching beneath his feet. At the top, he was told to stand in a horse stance for an hour. Every mistake came with punishment. Talk without permission, 300 knuckle push-ups on stone, hesitate in your form, ice baths, even in winter. By the end of the first week, Jean had bruised ribs, bloodied palms, and a swollen ankle. By the end of the first month, 17 of the 24 new students had already quit. But leaving wasn't easy. You had to request it, formally. Some monks refused the request. If you can run, run. If you can't, keep training, one instructor told him with a cold stare. And still, Jean stayed, until he saw what broke others. There was a boy, maybe 16, who tore his knee during a jump kick drill. He couldn't stand, couldn't bend his leg. The senior monk gave him two options: bind it with cloth and continue, or leave in shame. He chose to stay. By the next week, he was crawling. One night, Jean heard muffled crying from the courtyard. A student had fainted during iron body training, his chest raw from repeated strikes with sandbags. The older monks simply stepped over him. They called it chi ku, eating bitterness. It was more than a saying. It was a way of life. The injuries were constant. Dislocated fingers snapped back into place. Broken toes wrapped with thread. There was no medical team, just willpower. But the physical pain was only part of it. Silence was enforced. Family contact forbidden. Laughter discouraged. Jean began to forget what his own voice sounded like. You don't just train your body, one monk told him. You erase who you were. By month 7, Jean had developed stress fractures in both legs and a deep, unsettling numbness in his spirit. He would wake up crying some mornings, silently, because crying out loud brought punishment. One dawn, he stood on the rooftop after meditation. Below, students were already sparring in the cold. He looked at his trembling hands. And that's when he made the decision. He packed quietly, left his robes folded, and walked down the mountain barefoot, like so many others had done before him. Years later, Jean shared his story anonymously in a rare interview. I don't regret going, but no one tells you what it really takes to stay, what it costs. The truth is, for every monk who masters Shaolin, dozens are broken by it. They don't leave as warriors. They leave with scars, some visible, some not. And the monks who remain, they smile, they bow, they perform.